Do you ever wish your revision lessons could plan themselves? Well, in this episode, I'm going to share with you specific ChatGPT prompts that will help you generate quick, targeted revision resources in seconds. So whether you're teaching GCSE or A-level, this is a game changer. Hey there, teachers. Welcome to Miss Estruch Teach and Tell, the podcast where every week I dive into all the tips and tricks that make teaching life so much easier. Whether you're a veteran educator, an early career teacher learning the ropes, or balancing the classroom with being a busy parent, this will help you streamline your workload and bring a bit more balance to your life. You bring the coffee and I'll bring the teach and tell. Hey everyone, and welcome to Miss Estruch Teach and Tell, the podcast that gives busy teachers time-saving tips, fresh ideas and strategies to lighten the load. I'm your host, Miss Estruch, and today we're diving into how to use ChatGPT to power your revision lessons without spending hours at your desk. Okay, quick coffee catch up first of all. So this week has been absolutely full of birthdays for me. So I had my partner's birthday on the previous Saturday for the celebrations, and the Monday was his actual birthday. Then the weekend just gone, I had a nursery, or my kids' nursery friend's birthday party, and my niece's birthday party, both on the same Saturday, which I didn't think to look up the journey. Well, technically I did look up the journey. I knew it was in Finsbury Park and it was going to take me about 45 minutes to get there. It was one of their best friends at nursery, so I was like, I'll do that, and then I know I've got an hour to get to St Albans, we'll do that. However, I didn't realise it was an Arsenal match day, so it actually took far longer, and I'm talking hours longer than I expected. They had 20 minutes at the party, had to drag them out, go to the next one. So it's been chaotic, but at least it's been nice and sunny. I've been enjoying the sunshine. Not so much today though, it's absolutely pouring down with rain, and if you can hear any random sort of like drip, drip, that is the sound of the rain dripping from the balcony above onto my balcony. And I have tried my best to hold off filming this to avoid that rain, but it's just not going, and I need to get this out to you. So if you can hear a drip, that's what it is. So let's get into the main content then. Prompts that you can use for ChatGPT and the exact phrases that you can type in to help you create revision lessons super quickly that will be really effective in these last few lessons you might have left with your GCSE and A-level students, or whatever classes you might have revision lessons for, because you might have summer exams anyway. So number one is coming up with quick-fire revision questions that you can use. And the type of prompt that I might use would be create 10 GCSE biology multiple choice questions on osmosis and provide answers. Now that's quite a basic one. What I then like to do is just see what ChatGPT comes up with, but I always try to be as specific as possible. So I would actually copy and paste that part of the specification into ChatGPT. If you've got an electronic version of the textbook, you can take a screenshot or upload that in as well. So you can then say, this is the exact level of detail they need to know it in. You might even have some past paper questions, you can upload those as well. And yes, all of this does then take extra time, but if you're doing a whole revision lesson on that topic, it is so worth having the spec, bit of the textbook and some exam questions that you upload first of all, so then ChatGPT will churn out really relevant work. But back to those revision questions. So I'd upload all of that so it knows the exact level of detail, the sorts of key terms that the students need to use. And for those 10 multiple choice questions, I would then be more specific. So I might say for the multiple choice questions, each time I want 4 options, 3 of which are distractors, 1 of which is the correct answer. Or you might say, for some of them, I want 2 correct answers and 2 distractors. So you can be really specific that way. I've even said before, I want you to make this really challenging to test common misconceptions. And what I love doing as well is saying, please also provide the answers and an explanation as to why the wrong answers are wrong and the correct answers are correct. And this is then so useful to be able to project up to show the students. Or you can even say to ChatGPT, can you now turn this into a worksheet activity that I can also give to the students? So you could deliver this as a PowerPoint activity, but then you could also have a pack of things to give them as they go, or send them electronically. So then they have those questions to do again with the answers explained also. So that's the quick fire revision questions, number 1. Number 2 is exam style questions. And the sort of thing I might ask is write a 6-mark AQA GCSE biology question on immunity with a mark scheme. Now tweak that for whichever exam board you're doing, whether it's A-level, GCSE, Year 7, Key Stage 3, whatever it could be, and whichever subject if you're not a biology teacher. But the key is is say the exam board, say the level, the topic. And again, if this is one whole revision lesson on the same topic, hopefully you've already uploaded things like the mark schemes for certain questions themselves, the spec, and parts of the textbook, because then it'll be able to come up with a selection of 6 markers. And you could even say, I want a selection of 6 markers. I want one that focuses on monoclonal antibodies. I want one that focuses on vaccines, one that focuses on phagocytosis, and so on. And because you're getting the mark scheme as well, then you're able to either get them to peer mark, self mark, or you can just project it up and talk them through it. Now, with those types of questions, it is really important that you are checking through the question and the mark scheme, that it is matching close enough to the types of questions that come up. And to help with this before, I have actually also uploaded the AQA command words document to ChatGPT, so it knows these are the only command words that AQA will ask, and this is what it means by that. And that's helped it to produce far more accurate types of questions. Number 3 is active recall tasks. So you could give a prompt of, give me 10 short answer questions with answers on the light dependent reaction. So here we now have some questions which are slightly different to the Quickfire revision questions, which are multiple choice. It's not the exam style questions. These are now knowledge retrieval, but short answer. And again, upload all the spec, textbook, and that way it will be able to give you exam board specific short answer questions and the answers. And again, I'd like to throw in, please also provide an explanation as to why those are the correct answers, because then you can project it up if you're doing it in a lesson, or you can easily compile it all to give as revision resources for the students to do once they're on study leave or as part of their homework for revision. Number 4 is summary slides. Maybe once you've done your revision questions to start, the quick fire ones, you want to have a quick bit of summarization to check they do know all the key points. And you can use ChatGPT to create some theory summary slides. So you might put in the prompt, summarize the topic of transpiration in 5 bullet points for GCSE biology students. Or in the past, I've asked it to make a 1 A4 page summary of an entire topic. So to do this, as I keep saying, upload that bit of the spec, upload the textbook, ask it to create a summary page, or even in the past, I've asked it to create summary tables, because visually, for me, and I think for students, that can be easier to process the information. Number 5 is misconception checks. So again, you've uploaded all the documents that it needs. For this one as well, I think it's quite useful to upload a few examiners' reports, which you can download from the AQA website, download the last few, upload it, and then say, check through the examiner's feedback to come up with a list of 5 common mistakes or misconceptions students have on topic X. And then you get this list of misconceptions based on the examiner's feedback, saving you having to literally read through all of them and pick it all out. And yes, some of them you probably know just from teaching it, that you know what the misconceptions are, but having ChatGPT being able to assimilate all of this really quickly into a list could be a really useful tool to give the students, so they've got that as a checklist to check against, or you can then use as an activity in a lesson. So there you have it. There's 5 idea prompts that you could use to create an entire revision lesson, or even just to create the revision resources and homework for your students in this final lead up to their GCSEs and A-levels. So let's move into the quick win of the week. One of the hardest things that students have to grapple with is the exam technique and the different skills and demands for the paper once they've then learned all of the knowledge. And I've actually created a series of 5 lessons for GCSE and also for A-level that cover the key exam techniques. So if you do want to have a quick series of revision lessons that you can use completely ready to use with the PowerPoint and instructions, then I'll link those below so you can get hold of those revision lessons so that you don't have to do any planning at all. They're good to go. And today's resource roundup, the freebie for this session is I've put all of these prompts I've talked through into a 1-page document. So if you want to, you've got them there, copy and paste, and you're ready to go on ChatGPT to create your own revision lesson. So that is it for today's quick ChatGPT wins to help you come up with some revision lessons and resources to help your students. I hope you found this helpful, and if you did, please share it with another teacher that will also find it helpful. And don't forget to subscribe, follow, and leave a review if you have the time, because it really helps me reach more teachers like you. That's it for this week. I'll see you next week. You bring the coffee and I'll bring the teaching towel.